out so lame. Can I have some cash and a ride down to the arcade? Some cash and a ride down to the arcade. Can I have some cash and a ride down to the arcade? Can I have some cash and a ride down to the arcade?
There you go. Hey, chat.
How's it going?
What's up, chat?
So, chat, I have had all sorts of problems today. My internet's been out all day. I'm literally at my friend's house, so I got a pretty dope board game set behind me, so I'll take that. But I'm sorry that things are going to be a little echoey for me, and probably not as crisp and stuff like that. So, but like I said, I got a cool background. So, by the way, thanks Spectrum Internet for really sucking. Want to give that shout out.
We also don't have Kristine this week, so
true.
I've been giving out the sloth facts of the week. So here's our next one.
All right, yeah, what are some?
Did you know that a sloth's hair is a living, breathing home to many different organisms, including microbes, insect, fungi, and algae? There's an entire life cycle of some moth species that rely almost exclusively on the sloth's hair for where they live.
So the first one to name the two types of sloths, that the two main types of sloths in the chat will get a shout out.
Does it count that if I don't have work or robotics, I'm probably a sloth? You could call me a sloth.
There you go.
Just lay down, slow.
You have too many toes.
Host, just a quick heads up for you all too. So the microphone that I'm on is a little bit different, and I don't have an active mute button on this mic, so I can mute to the audience, but not to you all. So I do apologize if I do that and I cough or something like that, but I will be muted to the audience.
We're gonna kick you off if you cough.
Yep, fired.
No.
I'm making a great record. I had 2 shows in a row where I've been muted, so let's make it a third.
Woohoo!
I'm going to give Mad Robot a shout out. Two-toed sloth was one of the correct answers. Ninja Nate 07 gave you the other one.
Oh, and Jonathan McCenter is pretty close, right after Ninja Nate. So
PJ, yes, I have, and you can get that trend right off of this channel because I don't care. All right, I'm just talking to all my teacher friends, and they got to deal with that mewing crap that all the students are doing. I don't know if you all have experienced it, but
My team, they're like, my programmers especially, I'm like, hey, how are we with this autocode? Hold on, I'm mewing. Okay.
I've heard my kids say it. I have no idea what it means. Do I want to?
I haven't heard it.
Right.
I don't want to.
all right. In chat, just I'll be starting in just a minute or two. I'm just trying to get some final things set up as I'm on a completely different setup right now. So thanks for bearing with me.
Actually, we're sloughing with you. Bear facts would be completely different.
Wow.
There's more than 2 types of bear. How many types of bear are there?
All right. I just want to say you are the best. So.
There are 8 species of bears.
Does anybody know? Have any of the 3 of you seen that the Dean Kamen GIF where he's like doing the mewing thing or whatever? Like, where the heck did that come from?
No, I'm sorry. Did you say GIF?
Yeah.
You've lost all my respect, Tyler. I should.
Wow. There should be a poll in chat. Is it GIF or GIF?
Something. I don't actually know what it stands for, but I know it's graphic, and graphic is a G sound.
I'm just going by what the creator calls it. So
I think, yeah, that's right.
The creator's wrong.
Maybe so, but like, how do you say mecanum, right? It's like people say mechanism are wrong.
Well, actually, people tend
Like
not
both
to
are
say
wrong.
it these days. People tend to say swerve. So
Yeah.
there was actually a Mechnum robot at one of the events that I was at this year, and I was like, wow, this is a relic.
There's a behind the bumpers with the mecanum robot that we had. I forget which one. All right.
There's only like 2.
Yeah, maybe. So
My opinions on Mecanum robots are well documented on Chief Delphi.
all right. I think I'm ready to go. So let me do a couple last final things here and blah 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 blah. There we go. Cool. All right, everybody ready?
Yeah.
Let's
rock it.
Sure.
Here we go. Hit record and in 3, 2. Welcome to the FRC Top 25 for week number 3. We have teams coming in from 12 different states and districts, so can kind of combine those together, however you look at it, but that compromise our FRC Top 25. We also are going through our top 50 teams this week, and also talking about our snubs as well, too. And in the top 50, we got some cool highlights as well for teams in there. We got some great giveaways coming up as well, too, so let's get ready for the FRC Top 25.
This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineer their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply. Support Fun's content creators when you sign up for a membership on YouTube Join. You'll get access to special perks like emotes, loyalty badges, and Fun members will even get early access to our scheduled videos and more. 100% of this revenue will go back to our correspondents to help recognize their efforts. Click the join button in any YouTube video to pledge your support.
Welcome to the FRC Top 25 for week number 3. For first updates now, I'm Tyler Olds.
I'm Ari McMahon.
I'm Angel Miranda.
And I'm Ryan Swanson. Ari, congrats on the number 1 seed Alliance Captains win at New England URI with 80-85. Can you tell us a little bit more about your week?
Sure thing. So we had an event this weekend. We went to the University of Rhode Island, and it was kind of crazy because everything that we had worked on the previous week really paid off. We perfected our trap mechanism and our autos, and we were able to seed first with that. We were the only trap robot at the event, and we had an absolute blast. Shout out to our alliance partners 1768 and 3719. You are a blast to play with. But enough about me. Angel, how was your weekend with FRC?
So it was the first weekend I had in a while that was a break. Did I get a break from FRC? No, because I'm always watching the game, all that. And then, just trying to work with the team, get them ready for competition next week in Dallas, dealing with first API issues, trying to see where we're at ranking wise, all that. So even though it was my off weekend, it wasn't an off weekend. But what about you, Ryan?
Yeah, so after our week 1 exit in match 13, our kids thought it'd be good to rip every single wire off of our robot. And so we're in the middle of a pretty big rebuild. I think we drove it for the first time yesterday, and I'm actually at the shop right now, and they're finishing vision right now. So in theory, we'll be doing cycling and driver practice later tonight.
Ryan, when do you guys compete next?
Week 6 at the brand new Granite City Regional in St. Cloud, about 10 minutes away from my house.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. This week I was out. Where the heck was I? I was at Central Illinois Regional and also the Wisconsin Regional as well too. So I got to stay a little more local, which was really nice. On there, I am flying, I think, 5 out of 7 weeks. So to drive a couple of them is kind of nice on there and get back home with the family, that sort of thing. Got to catch up with a lot of great friends that I only sometimes get to see once or twice a year, right? So it's always great to bump into people, especially like at the Wisconsin Regional where I was the MC there for like 12 years, pretty much since the inception of it. And you still see people that were there from 2006 and stuff. And that's just really cool to see those volunteers that continue to make it happen as well. And also Central Illinois is an awesome event. Both of those venues are a couple of my most favorite venues, and not just because they're local as well. So really cool to just bump into the friends. A lot of great winning robots, which many will be talking about here in the top 25 at both of those events. Some absolutely incredible match play I got to see, which is really, really cool. So a couple things to mention for this week before we hop in the top 25 is, many of you know there have been a lot of, there's been a massive API issue, match recording issue and things. So trying to get matches that are going to accurately reflect everything we're doing. We really did try our best to put all these together on there. But one of the things I'm going to mention is we are not going to be showing StatBotic stats for this show, just because some of them are correct, some are not correct for things like that. So in future shows, hopefully that will all be set. That's on first side to hopefully get right. We kind of went into this ad nauseum on Roundup last night, so we won't go into it too much. But with that said, no stats tonight. It's just going to be strictly the community poll, and then we'll have listed their location below as well too. So just give you a heads up why it's going to be a little bit different tonight. One other change as well too is last week we tried this, and now we're kind of solidifying it. Our 26 through 50 teams we're going to spend a little more time on as well too, and each one of us is going to give a shout out to one of those teams in 26 through 50, as well as our snubs, which are teams that didn't make the top 50 that we felt should definitely be in there, even potentially in the top 25 as well too. Don't forget to vote every single week. Go to firstupdatesnow.com/FRC top 25. Voting opens on Sundays by 5 p.m. Eastern and closes Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern as well. So get your votes in, get them early. Don't forget things. I always see in our Discord posted, I was going to, and then it got closed. Can I revote? Nope, we shut it down. We have to process them to get them to our hosts that are around here, because they got a lot of work to do to get all the different writings up for everything as well too. So make sure you vote for these awesome teams. But with that said, let's jump in. One thing I want to mention is we have a couple events that are going on right now or going on very soon, like Israel District Championships. There's an event up in Ontario happening as well too. Those are going to be for next week. So keep in mind, those won't be a part of it. So you won't see any teams from like Israel on this list, for example, and this one that will be available for next week. But let's go ahead, jump in the top 25. Ryan's going to kick us off. Ryan, who you got in the 25th spot?
Let's do it. So I think it was Ari right before we went live was giving us a few bear facts. And I'm going to start off our list. Coming off their second win of the season, we have team 2046 Bare Metal. Currently, they're ranked second in the PNW. 2046 is sitting at a 24-5 record on the season. They've got an insanely well-designed robot, fast over-the-bumper rotary intake, and a lightning-fast, really fun to watch amp handoff. Their 6.5 note auto doesn't always hit every shot, but it seems to consistently grab the notes and moves them to their side of the field, which is still a major advantage. They're one of the few teams I've seen take and make shots out to the wing line with a little bit of consistency. Their next event is the Sammamish event, followed by the PNW District Championship, and undoubtedly the World Championship after that. Good luck to Bare Metal as we dig deeper into the competition season. Really, really fun robot to watch.
They're definitely one of my favorite teams to come out of the PNW and just hit that elite level year after year. So exciting to see 2046 debuting at 25 on here. This is definitely very, very fun, and love their robot this season. Can't wait to see them continue to compete.
My hot take, bold prediction for them is them and 2910 are going to team up again at the PNW District Championship, and that's a dangerous alliance. So we'll see.
There's a couple of really good teams.
Bold prediction?
Yeah, there are a couple of really.
I guess they're ranked 1 and 2, I think, right now.
Yeah,
maybe not so bold. Cold take. I don't know.
I was really impressed by. I think they got either snubbed or they were in the top 50. I think it was last week. Was CERT as well too out of PNW. So there's definitely some really good teams coming out of there, performing well, and it will be really interesting to see their district championship. I'm very excited to watch it while I'm in Ontario, but watch. I'm sure I'll have it up on my phone checking in as well.
For sure.
You know, any robot, a lot of robots out of the PNW. As somebody who doesn't get to see a lot of matches there, because since I'm out of Texas, always seeing Bare Metal compete, it's a very nice treat, even though it's remote.
All right. So up next at number 24 with a season record of 24-4-1, we have team 346, the RoboHawks. 2-time district event winners. They have an under-the-bumper intake that's a fast and effective trap mechanism with incredibly smooth driving. They seem to focus pretty heavily on the amp in an effort to optimize the overall scoring potential of their alliance partners. but they're also super effective at the speaker as well. So they were running a 4.5 note auto during their first event, which they've used to their advantage. I wasn't able to see what they pulled out for auto this week because of all the issues with the API, but I can only assume they've improved. Currently ranked second in district points in the Chesapeake district, 346 will be a force to be reckoned with at their district championship event, which is their next event that they have coming up. Good luck to 346 the rest of the way.
I'm not sure if they're the only team in the top 25, but I know at least in our top 50, we have a couple CHS teams as well, too. So cool to see some good representation. A lot of times that area tends to be a little undervoted versus some other areas as well, too. So great to see them. And we got a couple other areas in that Southeast that we're getting some more representation from this week in the top 25 also. So it's great to see.
All right. Coming up next at number 23, we have a newcomer to the list and a newcomer to FRC. Team 9408, the Warbots out of Downey, California. They've really burst onto the scene in one of the most challenging regions in the world. Their 18-9 record on the season doesn't really tell their full story, as they've dramatically improved from their first event to their second. Their 6-6 record and rookie all-star at the Waitangi Port Regional is an awesome event for a rookie, but they really turned it on at the Los Angeles Regional, going 12-3, taking home the W as the first overall pick to 368. They're a very skilled amper and trapper with an accurate speaker shot out to the podium. One of the most impressive rookies in FRC this year. Really excited to see what they do going forward and at the World Championship, which they've already qualified for.
So we were talking about this before, but I think it's really cool when we have rookie teams on the top 25 because they're really just breaking out of their area and the community is recognizing them enough to see that. This is our second rookie team that we've had on the top 25 this year. So absolutely shout out to 9408. Really exciting stuff they're doing.
Yeah, it is pretty rare to get teams in the top 25. So to see two already in this year is pretty odd. Like, I don't even know going back when prior to week 2, when the last time we had a rookie team on the top 25, like in prior years too. So yeah, absolutely cool to see.
I'm going to take an interlude here in the chat. They're talking about Ryan Swanson pins. My team has done that too. They take the most unflattering pictures of me that they can. They put it on pins and they trade them like trading cards. It's really painful. But back to our regularly scheduled number 22, we have team 180 Spam out of Stuart, Florida. Winners of the South Florida and Tallahassee regionals. Spam has been the first pick at both of their events this season. Their 5-note auto uses up the close notes and then one from the center, and it's proven to be a consistent source of points for them. They utilize an under-the-bumper intake, like a lot of the teams you're going to hear about, with an effective feeding strategy to clear out the center notes right after auto. They really focus on speaker cycles while frequently deferring the amp to their alliance partners. Their shooter is insanely accurate from anywhere within podium range. They get the note out really quick, so they're hard to defend. Coming up for Spam, they've got their third Florida regional in a row with the Orlando regional, where they're going to be a heavy favorite, along with some other very competitive teams there. And following that, we'll see them at the FRC World Championship.
I'll admit I saw this robot on the premiere night, and I was kind of impressed about really, one, how fast it was, like how fast it was doing cycles just from the get-go and the amount of driver practice that they had, and also how accurate they were. So I've been very impressed with this robot from the beginning. It's really good to see that they'll be taking 3 regionals and really getting that time in to compete on the world stage. So very excited about Sonic, which is what their robot is called.
Yeah, I was going to chime in and say the same thing, Ari, where, watching them at premiere night and seeing you just knew that this team was going to be at the caliber that you expect one needed to be at so many times. So great to see in the top 25. Could be a little higher, in my opinion, but still to see them on here. Week 3, man, like there are so many teams that honestly are going to be left off the list this week. To get on the top 25 at all with just how many teams we have competed this week is a great accomplishment. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, when we see the top 50, there are going to be some teams on there that you're like, really? They're not in the top 25? It's surprising when I saw it, for sure. All right. Keeping things going here, we have one of the few remaining perfect teams this season, Team 368, Team Kikamana, with a record of 15-0-0, coming in at number 21. They're the winners of the Los Angeles Regional as the number 1 seed. Undefeated through quals, undefeated through playoffs. They looked dominant throughout their qualification matches, with only one of their matches even coming in within 15 points. Their margin of victory was averaging, I think it was between 30 and 40 points on average through quals. They again used an under-the-bumper intake paired with highly effective speaker and amp scoring. Their 6-note auto, huge part of why they're successful. They're using the 3 close notes along with 2 from the center. Gives them a massive advantage entering teleop every single match. It seems like their auto is very accurate too. So a lot of teams have a 6-note auto, but they actually have a 6-note auto. Their remaining events include the Hawaii Regional and the FRC World Championship, where they're going to look to remain undefeated. And I think Hawaii Regional for sure, I think they've got a good shot.
Hikamana is a team that I've known for a while. I believe they were out in China with me back in 2017 as well, too, when we got a chance to go out there. And a team that's kind of ebbed and flowed a few years as well, too, right? I think this is their best robot they've ever had for things. I'm really happy that the FRC community took notice of this team, especially when you have a team like, Hawaiian Kids who everybody knows about. They're always everywhere things. And I love the Hawaiian Kids, but sometimes that also means that some other teams from that area may not quite get the recognition that they deserve. And in this case, community, you came through, because 360 Kikamana is incredible, and they definitely deserve to be on this list. And congratulations to everybody on that team for having an incredible machine so far. Hawaii just definitely stepped up another notch for me, and definitely an event that you should be watching.
I always, it's one of my philosophies with FRC Robotics is I look because I go back to my experience with FRC when I was a student on the team. You can always build a good robot, but if you're not programming it good, it's not going to perform well. And, you see this like 6-note auto. I mean, that shows you that this team has not only a great robot built mechanically, but also they have a great robot program. And I feel like that's what takes teams just that step further and reaches that next level is great programming. I may be biased because I am the programming mentor, but
yeah, I think Ryan put it well. Some teams have a 6-note auto, but they actually have a 6-note auto. With that, we're going to move up onto our 20th spot, where we have Team 5419 Berkelium from Berkeley, California, and Berkeley High School. With a record of 18-8-1, 5419 was the first pick of the 2 seed and finalist at the Sacramento Regional this week. They have an under-the-bumper intake that hands off to the shooter arm on a pivot that helps them shoot from just off the subwoofer. They can transition easily to the amp or climb in endgame. Congrats on a regional well played and the Innovation and Controls Award 5419. We'll see them play next at the East Bay Regional Week 6, where hopefully they can punch their ticket to the championship.
So I'm not going to lie, when I was watching this event, I texted some friends. I'm like, hey, have you heard of 5419? Who the heck are they? They look really, really solid. I didn't know who they were. Maybe I should have. Their 4-sided intake blew me away. I watched that thing. It's like, well, where were they at their first event? They really turned things on. Super impressive. One of my favorite robots to watch, because they just drive over a note in any direction and they have it. It's really cool.
I think we all kind of thought about that 4-sided intake, and we were like, nah,
Exactly. Yep.
I had an opportunity to interview Berkelium last year at Chesney Champs. And this is definitely a team that you could tell was really starting to hit their stride really well. They had an awesome cube shooter last year. I remember that. Ari, I'm glad that you pronounced Berkelium, because that I could not remember how to pronounce on there. Yeah, this is a team that, once again, we talk about those California teams that are really just rising up and starting to really get at that same level as some of those top tier teams. Berkelium's definitely one, not quite at the top tier, but it really starting to rise up over the last couple of years and looking really good.
Yeah, they're definitely top tier this year. I'm really excited to see where they go. Speaking of California teams, out of Palo Alto, California, it's Peninsula Robotics. With a recorded record of 14-6-1, they've played more matches. I don't know what their actual record is at this point. They were the first pick and winners of the Arizona Valley Regional. 6036 plays well across the field, scoring up to 6.5 notes in auto and following it with a true shoot from anywhere tele performance. Their robot is top notch this season with a well-tuned turret and an inside-outside full-width collector. We first saw Peninsula compete week 1 at the Waitangi-Port Regional, but now, doing as their namesake is to project out of their region, they've really shown what this robot is capable of. Despite only 7 of 11 qual match wins, they finished with a rank score of 2.27, gaining the Melody RP in more than half of their matches. Congrats to 6036 on the win this weekend, and we'll see them next at Idaho Regional Week 4 before they make their way down to Houston.
Peninsula, we got an opportunity to talk a lot about last year, right? They were really one of those teams that, once again, I thought they were from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, but turns out they're actually from California. And yeah, so we had an opportunity. We did an interview behind the bumpers with them last year, and this is a team that, honestly, before last year, really didn't pay much attention to, and definitely a team you really need to start paying more and more attention to as well too. At Waitangi-Port, that earlier exit is one of those kind of reminiscent of High Tide a little bit, where it's like, they're better than what they were, they're going to perform better, and here they did come out and perform much better. And Idaho looks to be actually
they were really on that High Tide alliance. They were on the alliance with High Tide.
Yeah, there you go. Right. So, and Idaho looks to be a pretty competitive regional this year as well too. So it'll be very interesting to see Peninsula throw in the mix, where you would think they're going to be a lock going into that event.
Moving on up to our 18th spot, out of Sydney in New South Wales, Australia, it's Team 4613, the Barker Redbacks. With a record of 27-2-0, Barker was the rank 1 and winner of both their events this season, the Bosphorus and Southern Cross Regionals. 4613 is a quick sharpshooter with an excellent touch-it-own-it collector. They attempt 6 in auto, scoring around 4 notes each time. In tele, they have great field vision and they pull from their opponent's misses. In the endgame, they climb, complementing a partner for the harmony. This robot is far from its ceiling, and you can bet that Barker will spend the next few weeks tuning their shooter and autos for the world champs. We'll see 4613 compete in Houston. Congrats on a great season so far. Can't wait to see how this robot does on the world stage.
Both Barker Redbacks and Barker Graybacks are extremely competitive robots out there. So Graybacks, I believe, is their JV team. I'm not sure exactly how it's classified, but they won the other regional in Turkey that Barker didn't go to. So Graybacks played in one, and Barker Redbacks played in the other there. And a really, really low robot. We just actually released their Behind the Bumpers that was recorded in Turkey earlier today as we're recording this as well too. So if you want to learn more about this robot, go check it out on Behind the Bumpers that just got released on there. But yeah, really quick, really small, interesting climber as well too, with a little bit of extrusion. I love the climbers on robots that are really capable of just climbing on the side of the chain. Very reminiscent. Another team we'll be talking about today with like Robotics, for example, where they can just pick up, climb on the side, and make so much more room for multiple robots. I think it's an awesome choice, and looking forward to seeing Barker even more later on.
Spoilers time. I'm really excited to see Australia, who is traditionally like one of the best regions in like VEX and FTC, really start to come on its own to FRC with Barker Redbacks here. So that's very exciting to me. We're going to move up to 17. Out of Highland, Michigan and Huron Valley High Schools, it's Hall of Fame Team 67, the Hot Team. Ranked first in the 1st in Michigan District, 67 was the first rank and winner of the Ann Arbor District event this weekend. 67 starts the match with a shoot-on-the-move auto, grabbing the 4 amp side notes after shooting their preload. Using an over-under intake, 67 uses a consistent shooter to score from all across the wing and finish the match with a trap score that allowed them to finish with a 3.0 rank score. Congrats 67 on the double banner season so far. We'll see them compete next at the Michigan State Championship in 2 weeks, looking to make a deep run onto Finstein.
So that's an auto that I think is geared for high levels of play. The fact that they're shooting on the move, going back, they're as to the center notes as quickly as they can be. I mean, that's what everyone's going to have at Worlds. Everybody who's trying to be a playoff caliber robot is going to have that auto.
It's a really interesting auto when you consider like some of the teams are shooting their preload on the floor and then picking it up later. Like, I think that's what that is going to evolve into. And 67
Agreed.
is already here, which is just so exciting to me. All right, we're going to move on to our 16th spot. Out of Peoria, Illinois, it's Team 1756, Argos. With a current record of 6-2-0 and probably going to be updated later, 1756 was the first pick of the 1 seed at the Central Illinois Regional and Champions. The robot sports an under-the-bumper collector that transfers to their shooter pivot on an elevator. They can seamlessly transfer between shooting into a speaker in front of the podium to the amp and finish off the match with a unique trap score that flips their entire shooter up to score. Congrats to Team 1756 on the impressive start to the season and the Innovation in Controls Award. We'll see them next this week at the St. Louis Regional.
So
this is one that jumps out to me. Oh, go ahead, Tyler.
I was going to say, so I did it behind the bumpers with 1756. Just came out today as well, too. Yeah, I mean, Ryan, as I'm sure you're going to say, this robot is just straight up impressive. The way that they every single year just seem to have so much control on the field with the game pieces for that. I really like that transfer system that they have, and then the dual that amp on one side, shooter on the other side, just makes it very, very smooth. Auto modes as well too, really starting to get some multiple different auto modes down. If you watch them in their match play, they were doing some where they were able to go quickly to the center, pick some up, move back, and still to get like a 3-4 note auto. And then on the other hand, otherwise able to do 5-6 note autos, which is really cool. So Ryan, what do you have to say about this team?
I was going to say I paid a lot of attention to CIR. One of my favorite events I've watched in a long time, to be honest. They are underranked here. They're better than 16 in my opinion. Really fun robot to watch. They're going to be really good by champs.
All right. Well, let's move on with our number 15 spot. Officially 23-7-1. It's 3467. Wyndham Wineup from Wyndham, New Hampshire. Winners of the New England District North Shore event, they being the first pick of Alliance 1, Wyndham Wineup went undefeated in playoff. Their 5-note auto, note detection, visual path correcting, and fast cycle times not only secured them the blue banner at the North Shore event, but the autonomous award as well. What can I say about this robot? Just looking at their build blog on Chief Delphi and pulling everything up, it was amazing to see them compete. Their intake is simple, effective. It's got wedges that center the note. Their shooter is compact, but it gets the notes in there. Their vision is what blew me away, and their auto. They have that 5-note auto, but they also have a secondary auto, which they go on one side of the field and actually use the vision. I believe it's Limelight 3 with Google Chloral to detect the notes and actually adjust and secure the notes. And every time I saw it, it was consistent. It's just amazing to see this team perform. I would just say congrats to 3467 for taking their first blue banner of the season home, and good luck to them at the New England Greater Boston event.
I love OA teams that come out and dominate that, hey, we're going to tell you everything that we do and how we do it, and we're still going to beat you. And yeah, I love it. Everything about it.
My favorite thing about 3467's build thread this year, though, is that like week 3, they realized that the archetype of robot that they were building was just not going to work, and they had to completely pivot. And that was one of my favorite things I've ever seen on an OA thread. So to have that complete, we're going down the wrong strategy path and we need to completely pivot where we're going and do a different direction, to winning an event like that is just really impressive to me. So yeah, go Wyndham.
And I'll see Wyndham this weekend. Unfortunately, I think, are they at Western or are they at Greater Boston?
They're at Greater Boston.
They're at Greater Boston. Yeah,
Western does not.
So the unfortunate thing is that I'm only going to be at Greater Boston for half a day, so I really hope I get an opportunity to bump into them, see them a bit more. Love to grab an interview with them as well too. There's quite a few teams at that event that I know I'm not going to be able to get to all of them, but Wyndham's definitely a team I really want to check out, even if I don't get a chance to review, just to see more and check out more as well too. Obviously, you mentioned before, Open Alliance team, so many of us have gotten a great opportunity to see what they're doing, but nothing beats seeing it in person and seeing it explained.
For sure. Now moving on to our 14th spot, making their 2024 debut at the PCH District Gwinnett event. It's 1771. North Gwinnett Robotics, coming out of Swanani, I can't say it, Georgia. Officially 17-1, this team dominated, going undefeated in qualifications and only suffered one loss in playoffs. Their 6-note auto and fast cycle times not only secured them as the Alliance captain of the first Alliance, but winners of the event's autonomous award. What can I say? Going through match videos of this robot, they're just zooming back and forth across the field. Their low profile helps them get underneath the stage and the chains. Uh, Honestly, looking at it, I was like, that is a beautiful robot. What can I say? Have they just they have that touch it own it game piece with the game piece, and their auto mind blowing. But congrats to 1771. We can't wait to see what you do at Albany event in week 5.
They're the team with the 17 note match, right? Like that's them. Yeah. You can tell. They have a match where they score 17 notes by themselves. It is absolutely insane. I love it. I love this robot.
My favorite thing to do with robots like that is kind of like not focus on any one robot in particular. Let your eyes glaze over and then just see the red blur going back and forth. That one's them, right? The one that makes everybody else look like they're not moving. That's them, and it's really, really cool.
This is a team I think that has built wooden robots in the past, aren't they? If I remember correctly. On them, I think there's structures, and I'm curious. I can't quite tell on here if they decide to build wood again, but they do painted wood because this was, if you remember, at Champs 2 years ago. This is a team that had to put a bag over their robot to control the humidity of their wood swelling at championships as well, which was absolutely insane. And they were one of the top scorers. They were probably one of the top 5 teleop scorer that they had as well. So it's not surprising to me to see 1771 up in this position again, making great robots once again. I was trying to figure out by watching this, I can't quite tell. So if anybody from PCH is watching, I'd love to know if they decide to continue with wood or not. Because one, I just think that's super cool to be able to build like one of the best robots in the world and still have your superstructure be built out of wood. I think it's absolutely incredible. I also think it would be absolutely insane to do this year based on the different frame structures that we've seen and results of high impact hits.
For sure. No, I think last time we were at Champs, they said that they gained over 10 pounds just in the humidity alone. But moving on to our number 13 spot, it's 1591 Grease Gladiators, making their debut at the Finger Lakes Regional. 1591 went on to take home the event's blue banner. Due to dreaded issues with FMS, I can't go much into detail about what happened at the event, but I can say that 1591 has developed a nice solution to this year's game. They're under the bumper intake, passes the game piece to their pivoting shooter, which allows them to move quickly, to score notes quickly into the speaker, but then also score notes quickly into the amp. They also were moving back and forth from what I can from the few matches that I can grab, and their low profile also helps with those cycle times. That amazing auto that they have, roughly I believe 5-6 note autos somewhere around there, was just amazing. And I remember my first impressions of the spot was, wow, that is a nice spot. So congratulations to Team 1591 Grease Gladiators. We can't wait to see what you bring to the New York Tech Valley Regional in week 4.
So I am so psyched to see 1591 on here again. So last year, if you remember, this was the EveryBot Plus, more than just an EveryBot, had a ground intake as well that they fielded, and it was 1591's absolute breakout year. Like they had been like a solidly mid team in New York before that, and then that year they were like honestly like one of the top teams in New York, and it was so exciting to see them. And I am very, very excited to see them in the top 25 again this year, sporting what looks like just a crazy robot for them. So really nice to see Grease Gladiators in here again. They are not from Greece; they are from Greece, New York, and they are absolutely going to dominate. I'm excited for it.
I just want to go back real quick from chat because somebody from 1771 says they did build a robot of wood again this year. So which is absolutely y'all are mad lads because like building a wood robot this year is absolutely insane. I don't mean to take anything away from 1591 because they are absolutely incredible and I'm so glad that they built such a cool robot again this year as well too. But sorry, building a robot of wood is just absolutely insane in this year's game.
Yeah, building a cool robot, 1591, but also designing a really cool robot this year too. Like progressing from the EveryBot to this is just amazing. Yeah. I'm so psyched to see them on here.
All right. Well, let's move on with our number 12 spot. Taking home their second blue banner this year, it's Team 5687, the Outliers. With their dominant performance at the New England Pine Tree event, 5687 went 10-2 in quals, ranking them third at the event. They went on to be the first pick of Alliance 1 and had a dominant performance, going undefeated in playoffs. Just going through this event, what I saw was just a team that obviously you could tell had that experience from week one, and I think that helped them out this so much because I'm looking at them. They're going to the source, and they're not even there for a second at most, and they're already going back and trying to shoot in for the speaker. Their robot, their intake and ground pickup is just amazing. I fell in love with this. All these robots that I'm seeing today, I fell in love with. But congratulations to Team 5687, the Outliers, for going home with the blue banner and the Excellence in Engineering Award. Can't wait to see what the future holds for this team.
So 5687 is a team that we actually talked about a few weeks ago, and we said that they have some sort of differential swerve. It is actually a shifting swerve, and they are literally the fastest robot on the field. They're incredibly light as well. So when they do their cycles, and you zone out, you let your eyes glaze over, they're the robot who's going back and forth. Absolutely incredible team.
And Ari, you interviewed this team, I think, at the Week 0 event, right?
Yes.
So looking
they
from,
were an absolute pleasure to talk to.
I was going to say, looking from Week 0 to here, have you seen any from you any major changes in gameplay or anything like that? I'm not going to ask you for a symposium breakdown of how their robots changed or anything like that.
Like that, the big thing is that they work now. Like you go to Week 0 and you see all these robots who have this crazy amount of potential, and then they break, and sometimes things don't work. 5687 is a great example of that because at the event they were still trying to tune their shooter. They weren't really hitting everything. In the match that I actually recorded for the Behind the Bumpers, their intake completely breaks and they just end up playing this really great amount of defense. But seeing them at Pine Tree this weekend was like, yeah, this is where that robot's going. They're not even close to the ceiling of that robot either. Like there's still some things that they can tune with it, and I am so excited to see them at District Champs.
All right, and moving on to our number 11 spot. Coming out of Reading, Massachusetts, it's 63-28 Mechanical Advantage. Going undefeated at the New England District North Shore event, 63-28 walked away with not only their first blue banner of the season, but the quality award as well. Their 5-note auto and quick cycle time showed why they have a claim to the number 11 spot. Looking at their robot, if you followed them on their build blog, obviously you'll see that they have a beautiful solution to this year's game. Just seeing those giant gears to manipulate the angle of the shooter and the pickup game pieces is amazing. Also, the back of their shooter has an option for trap scoring and amp scoring, amp scoring. And I just overall think it's a great robot, and I would highly suggest you follow their build blog. So congratulations to Team 63-28 Mechanical Advantage. We can't wait to see where the future will take you.
I think Mechanical Advantage might be the best programmed robot outside of California, maybe even including California, but their programming is unbelievable. The resources they put out for teams are almost as impactful as any other team I can think of. I love watching them compete. I love their branding. I love their name. I love pretty much everything about Mechanical Advantage. I keep track of them pretty closely, and they're insanely fun to watch.
They're one of my favorite robots this year. I think this thing is just so consistent, and we're going to be referring to them as like the 254-1678 of the East pretty soon. Like they've been to Einstein 2 years in a row now, and this year I don't see it being any different from them. This robot is hands down probably going to be the best robot in New England by the end of the season, and will be a lock in whatever division they're in. I love how their design works this year, and I can't wait to see it up close too. Like we've seen it in their build season thread, but just the amount of design that went into that thing is so cool. Also, the amount that just 63-28 was walking around the pits at North Shore trying to get other teams to climb so that they could get that ranking point was really impressive. So the amount of climbers that they fixed this weekend and actually got working, just their contributions to the community are incredible. And yeah, love them.
Well, hey, before we get into our top 10, we got to take a quick break. Couple things to go through on here. I know some of you are waiting for clips of the week. If you didn't know, I had tons of internet issues today, so that will be out tomorrow, so I apologize about the delay on that. But we will be starting a giveaway in just a moment. Before we do, let's thank our friends once again at Kettering University for the continued support of fun. Scholarships are closing soon for that first scholarship. If you or somebody you know are interested in attending Kettering University, accepted students who are either FIRST or VEX Robotics are eligible to get an additional $5,000 a year off their tuition. So go to kettering.edu/first. One of the best things about Kettering University is that every single student that goes to Kettering University will be placed into a co-op program. It's something that they have nationwide recognition, worldwide recognition for, where you, one part of your college course, you actually work. The other part, you go back to school and you go back and forth, earning money, getting experience with some of the best companies around the world. So go to kettering.edu to see if Kettering University could be a great fit for you. We're going to start our first giveaway of tonight. Just a quick reminder, if you do win a giveaway, please go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner for that. This one will be drawing after our top 5, and that's from our friends at CTR Electronics, Crossroad Electronics, for a Phoenix Pro license. Kraken is the keyword to type in the chat for that. And this is a license that will be good for next year as well, too. So it's not just going to be for now. It can be now if you want it to be, but otherwise it is good for next year as well. Crossroad Electronics, really great on their efficiency and performance that they bring to the FIRST community. So make sure you check them out at CTR Electronics to see everything that they have to offer. But once again, this is for a Phoenix Pro license. Type in Kraken in chat right now. That's your opportunity to win. And with that said, let's get into our top 10 of the Week 3 FRC Top 25.
All right, kicking off the top 10, I'm going to give away a little bit of a spoiler here. First in a 3-team Texas streak. They've already competed in 3 events, but they've only competed in 1 in their home district. We have Team 118, the Robonauts. You've heard about them on this list multiple times already this season, and you're going to hear about them multiple more times, almost certainly. With a record of at least 38-0, with the FMS not letting me know their actual record, the Robonauts are really hitting their stride at this point in the season. They have 3 events ahead of them prior to champs. They have a multi-sided under-the-bumper intake to a turreted shooter that can knock down shots from anywhere. You know, I think 118 might be building a case for this to be one of their most competitive robots ever. Going into the World Championship, they will probably have more matches under their belt than any other team. And it's going to be just kind of insane what they're going to be able to do at that point. They're already in championship midseason form, but give them another 3 weeks, 3 events is insane.
So Robonauts they've had an interesting journey so far, right? Because they, had a great week 1. I think it was week 1 or whatever their first event was for things. And then you go into, it had to be week 1 because they're 3 events, right? So, and then week 2, they head out to Green Country Regional, have an early exit with that as well, miss out on the top 25 as well. And then they come back this week and just absolutely cook once again. So really cool to see. Interesting to see their journey this year, how many miles they're putting on as well too, with all the events is absolutely just crazy. I don't know, can any of you imagine bringing your team to this amount of events that like some of these other teams do? Like, and
no,
I'm saying, Ari, you're a district, Ari and Angel, your district, and trying to do that is absolutely nuts.
Let me explain. We are a lower resource team, right? So I can't even fathom going to an event every week. The other thing is, we're associated with a school. And so, the school doesn't always want to pay for travel. I think that's just one of the things about Robonauts is that they've had their school district. They showed their school district like, hey, this is really cool. This is really, and they got their school district to support the robotics team, which I think is really cool.
Totally agreed. And the second straight Texas team now coming in at number 9 with their robot surge, we have the Robochargers, team 3005 out of Dallas, Texas. 2-time winners already this season. 3005 is coming off a win at the Fort Worth district event while only dropping 2 quals matches and sweeping their way through the playoffs. 3005 is one of the teams that really benefits from the recent team update that increases the RP threshold for notes at district championships. they're going to be putting up as many notes as anybody. They play the rebounder role, and their excellence in the rebounder role enables them to easily put up a massive number of notes each match, almost regardless of who their alliance partners are. Their next event is the Texas State Championship, where they're going to leverage their insane play to seed high and take a deep run into the playoffs. Team 3005 is really defining that rebounder role to me. I think, the meta game could work out in a couple different ways, and it's certainly going to involve a rebounder role in some capacity. And 3005, if teams are striving to be like, to fill that role, I should say, watch a lot of footage of 3005. They play it better than anybody.
I'm a little surprised to see them at 9, to be honest with you. I don't vote in the top 25, but I do put together a rough list, and they would definitely be a few spots higher even than what this is. I mean, 3005 is a fantastic team. Many of us have friends on that team as well, too. But, I mean, what an incredible machine they built this year as well. Coming out of, last year where they were so close to making it onto Einstein. It was an incredible set of matches to this year where they're just absolutely cooking with their alliance partners, 2468, who they've won 2 events with as well. Super cool just to see this team continue their success of excellence. And this robot is just awesome. I love the way that they play the game, Ryan. It's just so cool.
I think I enjoyed watching their 2023 robot more, but I think this robot is better. And I think they can go further with it.
As somebody who was watching the event all day, glued to my phone, and somebody who was at the Waco event when they first played, just seeing that they could improve, and not just by a little bit, by a significant amount, was just crazy. I expect them to go far at district champs and at the world stage. So.
Wait, Angel, you actually got to enjoy Waco? I thought everybody just fell asleep for like 10 hours after that delay.
Oh, I took my nap, and then apparently robots started getting on the field.
Oh, fair enough. All right.
All right. So I really appreciate how many Texas teams that we have clustered so tightly in the FRC top 25 this week. It's a great appreciation for that fact. Our third Texas team in a row coming in at number 8. It took a few of you a little bit there. I think most of the crowd probably got it. Team Appreciate out of Austin, Texas. 2468 has pulled 3 banners already in their first 2 events this year. And it's notable. They have 2 Dean's List finalists, both of them actually at the Fort Worth event. Pretty insane. And they've also pulled in the Impact Award. They're off to an unbelievable start so far. 3005 and 2468 put up 116 in a qual match together. Don't actually know what their playoff scores were. I assume that they were equally insane. Their intake is extremely efficient, and 2468 might be the best in the world at passing notes downfield accurately and quickly. They have some, if you watch their matches, where they shoot it to 3005 and dang near put it right into their intake. They use this strategy now, or they at both of their events alongside 3005 to win both of them. And I'm going to make a bold prediction that these teams are going to partner up again at the Texas State Championship and use their cohesion to make a deep playoff run.
Ryan, your predictions tonight, they're bold. They're bold. They're not.
Really
bold. Hey, the top 2 teams up and win it. I don't know.
He's got a 50% chance of being wrong with divisions.
Looking at this team, as somebody from the Texas district, they're always a team that they're not even 45 minutes away from me, and it's just amazing to see what this team can do. One of the things that I always bring up is that when it comes to impact or formerly chairmans, they're right there. The impact that they have on the community is great. There was that discussion of like, which teams do you want to see in the Hall of Fame? I've been waiting for this team since I was a rookie.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
One thing I'll say too is that I don't think gets enough love for Appreciate are there other teams that they have too. They have Apprentice and is it Alpha? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
Yes.
On there, and both those teams had great performances too at this event. So overall, I mean, a very complete program. As we all seem to be in pretty good agreement, this team has to be a contender for Hall of Fame. I mean, they still got to get impact at DCMP, right? So still another step to climb with that as well. But definitely, I think on many of our radars for being a Hall of Fame team. And Norm, if you're listening, I absolutely love your jersey. I could use a new one because I've literally worn it out by wearing it so much around because it's an incredible. They have one of my most favorite team apparel merch all over. It's like the nicest jersey ever. So shout out to 2468. Everything they do is incredible.
Couldn't agree more. I appreciate them. Coming in now at number 7, after winning and competing at and winning their first event of the season, we have team 2481, the Robotics out of Tremont, Illinois. Central Illinois appeared to be among the most competitive events in the world going into it, and it really didn't disappoint. With many of the top teams from the Midwest in attendance, 2481 distanced themselves from the pack with extremely effective cycling and the best harmony climb in FRC. They rolled through quals and ranked first before teaming up with Argo 1756 and 6317 in the playoffs. Their alliance was putting up scores near 100 points while dedicating 6317 to top-notch defensive play with their cheese-caked blocker wall. I feel like 2481's alliance showed the power of a well-done 2+1 strategy, 2 offense, 1 defense. And in my opinion, this could be a preview of how many teams are going to begin to play the game moving forward into the competition season.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Robotiers. I was at Central Illinois as well too, and this robot is just incredible. I kind of aforementioned it before, where that hook that they have is just so great because I literally thought it was a gas shock that they were using, and it's just a huge pneumatic piston at the end that still pulls their robot up at the end, so they can essentially climb at T=0. With it, they're all the way over because it's just this little hook. You can go through the behind the bumpers to get a really good detail on that. And Robotiers, I've been talking to them for many, 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 many years. And this year, an elite robot coming to the field, and this team is, to me, a lock on their division at championships right now. Looking absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I saw 2481's reveal video, and for like the first 10 seconds, like you see the robot, and I was like, did 2481 build like a symmetrical, like on par with the meta robot? And then you see the big gas shock hook, and it's like, yes, this is their robot. Unsurprising that the team that managed to climb the side of the traversal climb thing in 2022 would climb on the side of the chain. Was definitely looking forward to them doing that when they revealed the game, and I'm so glad that they did it. So looking forward to seeing them.
You're right. It was very reminiscent of that 2022 climb. That's the first thing that I thought of too. Something interesting, by the way, if you hear on their interview, they talk about they actually tried to go a significantly smaller frame than what they had, which is already small anyways. But they actually say that they're very glad that they didn't because, the way that they went, able to have a little more grip or a little more floor space essentially on picking up notes and that sort of thing. But there's just a lot of great little nuggets to pull out of this team that really could impact your team. And I've always felt they're one of the most inspirational teams out there.
The other thing for me about 2481 is just the fact that watching them on the field, they make every other robot look like a boat. They're like, well, what is their frame? It's like 24 by 24.
Something
everybody
like that.
else just looks massive on the field. I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
No, I always look at this team and I'm like, this is the team with the most creative solutions at FRC. It's like, every time I look at robot reveals, usually they're in my top 5 that I see because their solutions are just amazing and creative. I love it.
Yeah, I think in 2022 they got a little overshadowed by Thunderstamps when they came out with theirs. But Robotiers, when they came out that climb, I remember initially for that, which I think was before Thunderstamps released theirs, like that was the most creative design of that year. And this is definitely a robot that is very high up there for creative designs. By the way, just a quick shout out to one other team that was there, 4028 Beak Squad. If you didn't see their robot and their reveal, where they literally have a blower that blows the trapdoor open to score. Now, it didn't work every single time, but it is one of the just most crazy, unique ideas that if it gets tuned in well, I would not be surprised to see many other teams at least attempt to implement on their robot.
Good shout out. Totally agree. All right. Coming up in our 6th position with 2 blue banners under their belt already this season, we have team 2910, Jack in the Bot. With an effective turret, under the bumper intake, and autonomous mode that's already optimized to be the first to the center notes, 2910 is in mid-season form already. Since their first event, 2910 has dramatically improved at the AMP, but they're showing that you can be one of the best in the world while completely ignoring the trap. Their insanely fast full field cycling makes them one of my favorite robots to watch. Their intake seems to have extra range that I haven't seen from many others, especially under the bumper intakes, that seemingly grab the notes if they get anywhere near them. It seems like it should be underneath their wheel, and somehow they grab it and pull it under their bumper. 2910 will be one of the favorites at the PNW District Championship, where they're looking to follow up on last year's win with another one this season. And my apparently cold take is that they're going to do it. Their turrets are crazy. I didn't think turrets were going to be super viable in this game. I knew some would try. Their turret is super effective. It's super fun to watch. 2910 is ridiculous. They're ridiculous every year, but this is a really good robot that they've built.
Right, Ryan with the awesome cold takes. I love that phrasing. So I don't know if we can work that into like cold take Ryan or something like that, but probably not.
Oh,
Deep
no,
cuts
no.
from Ryan. Instead of deep
I have
cuts,
lots of
they're
bad
cold
takes,
cuts.
Tyler.
And we love you for them. So, yeah, Jack and the Bot, I mean, we've talked about this team a lot already, so I don't know how much more there is to say with it. But once again, talk about inspirational teams out there. Jack and the Bot is definitely up there. I think how many teams have even emulated last year's robot into this year's that they had as well, I think is really, really cool to see. You know, when you're building robots that transcend games, I think that's a pretty good indicator that you're one of the most inspirational teams out in FRC. And Jack and the Bot is one of those teams that continues to do that.
I will say, when I first went to my first week one event, I noticed like, oh my gosh, this is a really short game. All the robots are short, the field elements are short, and then I saw Jack and the Bot's robot reveal, and I was like, how? How did they get it so low, but perform at a level so high? It's amazing. Always a joy to see 2910's robots.
Well, hey, before we get into the top five, we got a few things we got to go through. The first thing is to do a giveaway. So once again, that was our friends at Crossroad Electronics giving away a Phoenix Pro license for that. So let's go ahead and draw for our winner. Cracking was the keyword. It's going to be Joe Flynn. And congratulations, Joe Flynn. Please make sure you go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner in order to claim so we can get that out to the supplier. Keep in mind, I do put this on the forum, but right now everybody's busy, right? So please expect up to a couple weeks. If you don't get anything, feel free to send an email or reach out to me, ping me on Discord or something like that, and I'll follow up with the supplier. But everybody's crazy right now, so bear with everybody as we get through the season on this too. So just lots of stuff going on. A couple other things to go through as well too before we start our next giveaway is we're going to go into our top 50 teams that were on the FRC top 25 for this week. So let's go ahead and talk more about those teams on there. So you see the list on there. Stats are missing obviously because Statbotics we not able to pull from that, no fault of their own for things. So let's go ahead and talk about our top 50. Each one of us is going to give a shout out to one of these teams. We'll start with Ryan. Who's your shout out for this week of teams in 26 through 50?
Yeah, for me, it's a team that just missed the cut. 1732 Hilltopper Robotics out of Wisconsin. Two-time regional winners already this year. They were undefeated at the Lake Superior Regional Excellence in Engineering Award there. Then they go into the Wisconsin Regional where they ranked fourth, and they survived a scorch situation where I think there were 3 declines of the number one captain, including their decline. They team up with 930, and the rest is history. They win their second event of the year. 1732, very underrated. Should have made a top 25 in my opinion.
Yeah, so my shout out is to 4909 Bionics. They were trading us off for the 1 seed literally all day Friday and Saturday up until the very end. They are a fantastic machine this year. This was their 4th event in 5 weeks. They did week 0 and then 3 districts back to back to back to back. Absolutely insane, but their driving shows for it. They were scoring 5 in the speaker max in auto, and then cycling an average of 9.5 cycles and with a max of 13. So absolutely incredible robot. Cannot wait to meet up with them again at district championships.
All right, well let's go with my shout out. It's gonna be 3310 Blackhawk Robotics. Just watching them at Fort Worth event, it was amazing. They obviously improved from Waco. The reason I want to shout them out is because they performed at Fort Worth. If you look at playoffs in Fort Worth, you can't pull it up on StatBotics, but they went against the number one alliance. Remember, number one alliance at Fort Worth, 3005 and 2468. They lost that bench, but only by 5 points. So I think that tells you how much effort they were putting in with their alliance partners. At some points in Fort Worth, they were soloing it during quals. So shout out to 3310. That's going to be my shout out for the top 50.
All right, so my shout out is a team also from Wisconsin. And Ryan, I'm going to give you some redemption here if you want to try to pronounce the team name on it.
McGuanago Bears.
There you go.
We know that one.
McGuanago Bears, another team from Wisconsin on there. So, and here's why. McGuanago Bears, let's talk about them coming into the Wisconsin regional event. A very great story. First off, one of the few teams ever that has triple crowned. They won the event, got impact, and also had Woody Flowers finalists. Shout out to Brian as well too for winning that. But you have a team here that they come in this event, try to fix things. They have a turret with a swerve, and that's it. Not able to get their amp going, not able to get their climber going, nothing else other than a speaker shot. And I think that is absolutely incredible. Very interesting the way the rankings worked out at the Wisconsin Regional. There's a little bit of a scorch with the number one seed. But you have McGuanago Bears pairing up with Hilltoppers Robotics and just having an absolute field day, getting speaker shots in, passing them. They were doing a lot of passing as well too, at least during the quals when I saw as well. So huge shout out to McGuanago Bears, a team that, especially pre-COVID, we're looking at being that dominant team in Wisconsin, and they're starting to rise back up again. Them and Hilltoppers and a couple other teams we might mention are Snubs as well too. But huge shout out to them in the top 50. And congratulations to them for that triple crown. I don't know, do we have a word for that? Is it triple crown? What do we call it?
I don't know. It's only happened 23 times in 35 years, so I don't know if we have a word for it.
All right, that's fair. So let us know in chat, by the way, what your shout-outs are in the top 50. We'll be talking about our snubs in just a little bit as well, too. But before we do that, we're going to start our next giveaway from our friends at Swerve Drive Specialties. And that's for that short sleeve timeline t-shirt that they have on there. That you can go check out at swervedrivespecialties.com and all the awesome stuff they have on there. This is a really sweet shirt. I know we previewed it before, but just going through the history of the MK modules is really awesome. Once again, if you do win, please make sure you put in what size or you get the extra small, which is default listed on here as well. So SDS timeline, that's your keyword to type in for that. And with that said, we have some snubs we're going to be going into as well too. So let's throw it back to Ryan and talk about who is your snub of the week of a team that didn't make the top 50 here this week. Oh, and I think Ryan might have froze. So we'll come back to Ryan in a second. Ari, why don't we throw it to you and let us know who your snub is.
Absolutely. So they were actually my snow of the week 1 too, but I'm going to bring them back because they absolutely deserve the recognition. And that is Team 1768 Neshoba Robotics. They are like one of the best shooters in New England right now. They were at the URI regional. They were our first pick, and just absolutely insanely accurate robot. They cycle for averaging 11 cycles a match, and that is with one match where they had 0. So fantastic robot, max of 14. They've got insane accuracy, 90% accuracy through the entire event. They do have 4-0 auto that scores every single time, basically. And I've been very impressed with their robot so far. I think this is the best robot they've ever built, and I'm very excited to see where it goes from here, especially at district championships.
All right, Ryan, let's send it back to you. Who's your snub of the week?
I'm back. So I actually think the best team at the Wisconsin Regional was 1714. They were the third ranked team coming out of quals. More Robotics. I'm a little biased. I was their alliance partner week 1 at the Northern Lights Regional, but 1714 insanely good. The only reason I think that they didn't win is because they weren't able to team up with one of the other top robots at the event. They very impressive. They can shoot from anywhere within the podium zone. Very effective. The biggest improvement they made between week 1 and week 3 is they got really good at the amp, and they were the primary amper for their alliance on a majority of the matches that they played. So 17-14, shout out. Really happy to see that they got a wild card, and we'll see them at the World Championship in Houston.
Yeah, I can attribute them more as well, too. We did get an interview with them, so I'll be coming out in a couple days. And Ryan, we're going to test you and see how good of an alliance partner you are. What's better than Robotics?
More Robotics.
All right, cool.
Come on,
Awesome. Just have to check in and make sure on that, for sure. Angel, who do you have for your snub of the week?
My snub of the week, I'm gonna go with 6672. My snub will be a surprise to some people who were watching 6672 this week, because if you looked at them at the start, Fusion Core was not at that level. They at some points were just strictly playing defense. They were a defense spot at the beginning of their qualification matches. But the reason I called them a snub is because I think that where they ended at Fort Worth being finalists shows how strong of a team they are. And it's one of those things where that doesn't get recognized enough in these polls because everyone looks at just the performance overall. But it's starting from nothing and going to finals at least at a competition nonetheless is just amazing. So that's why they're my snub of the week.
Yeah, Fusion Core is a team that, last year, they were actually one of my favorite robots last year. We interviewed them week 1 or something like that, and I'm like, this is an Einstein team already after they were world champions, right? Coming in just looking phenomenal. So I'm going to give my snub. I'm going to go outside my area and give my snub to a team up in Canada. So being from South Canada, which is known as Wisconsin, I'm going to give it to Celtex 5406. Who were the number 1 seed at their event this week at Durham College, scoring over 100 points in their first playoff match. They yielded most of their auto to Strikeforce in this, but overall, they had an awesome strategy with their passing. And something that I haven't really seen from that passing strategy is they're doing low passes versus high passes. And now you can't always do that because there's robots in the way, but when you can, I think that gives you a little bit extra edge of getting that extra 1 or 2 cycles by not having to potentially wait for that note to drop. You can go and pick one up, let your alliance partner score quickly. I really like that strategy that they were implementing as well too. So cool to see. By the way, shout out to fun correspondent Emma, who's the drive coach of Celtex as well, and I can't wait to see them week 6 when I head up to the Ontario Provincials. It's going to be an awesome team to see.
5406
also does that low passing thing. If you want to check them out, they're really accurate with it too.
Who was that?
I love the way that these guys do it. 6328 mechanical advantage.
Oh yeah.
You're talking. Yeah, I think those are the only 2 that are doing it right now, and they're doing it so well.
All right, so let's go into that's our snubs. Let us know who your snubs were in chat as well too. There's always going to be teams missed out on when you have 1,000+ teams compete every week. There's always going to be some missed out on. So let us know. We'd love to hear about them. And believe it or not, when people comment, I try to do as much research on teams afterwards to see who they are. But don't forget to vote at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25. If you don't like that a team's there, get more people to start voting. The more votes we have, the more balanced it is. It's been pretty good, in my opinion, this year. But, get more and more people to vote. We'd love to have that. So let's jump into our top 5 teams. And Ari, take it away. Who's in number 5?
Starting off our top 5 out of San Jose, California, and Leland High School, it's Team 604 Quicksilver. With a record of 25-7-1, they were the number 1 seed and winner of the extremely competitive Sacramento Regional. 604 has proven to be a force to be reckoned with this season after a strong finalist showing week 1, taking the 1-seed alliance to 3 matches. I was really looking forward to watching them again this week, and they really delivered. This robot is a quick scoring machine with an outside bumper collector and a high shooter pivot. This week, 604 perfected their shot from underneath the stage, shooting accurately from far away. Their shot positions and shortened cycles allowed them to move across the field quickly, allowing them to take the gold, not just a quick silver. Congrats to 604 on a dominant performance at Sacramento. We'll see them next in week 5 at the Monterey Bay Regional and then at the championship event.
So 604 is seeding first. We're going to talk probably a little bit more about that too. But oh my God, what a dramatic event! Insanely fun to watch. We'll get into it. I won't spoil anything.
I think we all had kind of like a moment where we were like, wow, someone besides 254 or 1678 seeded first at an event with 254 and 1678 And literally, that just goes to show you how good 604 is this year.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
what I will say, sorry, as the host of Forecast, we gotta look at some events to pick, and it was one of those things where it was like, okay, do I put this event in? Because what am I gonna say? Oh, 254 and 1678 are just gonna dominate, and so it was like, okay, we'll leave this out. And then what happens? Somebody else takes the number 1 seed, right? It's just our luck.
I wouldn't have put money on it that that a team other than Citrus or Poos were going to take number 1 at that. I mean, it's a great event, and Quicksilver is phenomenal, and they absolutely deserve being first off on the top 25 as high as they are, and second off taking that number 1 seed as well too. Think about the last couple of years what that team has brought. It shouldn't be a surprise to many people that they're sitting where they are. Once again, when you have such powerhouses, sometimes you get a little bit overshadowed, and this is a great example of one of those teams really rising up and actually taking control, which I think is so cool.
So that's our 5 seed. We'll move on to our 4 spot now. So in our 4 spot, your number 1 team in New England right now. It's Team 6329, the Bucks Wrath. Out of Bucksport, Maine and Bucksport High School with a record of 35-0, they were the first rank and winners of the Pine Tree District event. Showing off their quick scoring with an under-the-bumper intake and top pivot point on an elevator, this robot debuted week 1 as one of the most well-driven machines out there, and they've proven in week 3 that assessment was no mistake. Bucks Wrath is really elite level this year, and they are tuned in for their quest back to Einstein. 6329 starts the match in any number of different autos, pulling from the midline on either amp or source side with ease. They follow this with an expertly driven tele-up period, pulling any notes on the field and putting them into the amp or the speaker. Congrats to 6329 on their double banner season already. They are locked in to the New England District Championship at this point, so we'll see them next, week 6.
This team is just nuts overall. I mean, it's so it's so cool.
They're so nuts.
Yeah, I mean, once again, seeing that reveal video come through, they were the 1 or 2 I'm trying to remember of reveal videos in premiere night that I saw that I'm just like, not only do I love the reveal video, but I'm just like, this is going to be just an insane robot this year. And wow, Bucks Wrath, super, super cool. By the way, when you think of New England, you don't always necessarily think of a bunch of powerhouses from Maine coming in. And it's really cool to see that we got a couple of them as well, too, this year as well. So Bucks Wrath, congratulations on just being absolutely incredible. And I can't wait to see your team compete in future events, and especially at the championships, and hopefully have an opportunity to catch. I know you got to get there, but I think we can agree there's a pretty good shot Bucks Wrath is going to be at championships.
They're number 1 in New England right now. They're all they have to do
Cold take, Tyler.
Seed within the top 24 and get picked in the first round. Like, it's going to happen. Yeah, 6329, like you're mentioning, like, yeah, you don't really think of like the team from Maine and New England powerhouses. Yeah, they have so just taken off in the last 3 years since post-COVID, and it's been so exciting to watch them. So with that, we'll rush over to our 3rd spot. It's Hall of Fame Team 27, Rush. From Clarkson, Michigan, with a record of 21-3-0, they were the first rank and winners of the Finger Lakes Regional this past weekend. 27 has a quick machine that grabs notes with an outside-the-bumper collector, bringing them to a consistent vertical shooter. Their feeding strategies have allowed their partners to perfect scoring in this game, giving them quick amp cycles. When they're not executing the most perfect feeding in all of FRC, you can find them draining amplified speaker shots while on the move. 27 plays their game well, with a strategy tuned to their robot strength. Congrats on a strong showing out of district, and we'll see them back in their home state of Michigan at Troy #1 this coming week.
Rush has built a lot of really great robots. They have a really long team history. I don't know, but this might be the best they've ever built. They're insanely fun to watch. I think the feeding strategy is going to be interesting, how the metagame kind of develops. I think it could go one of 2 ways, but they are one of the top feeding robots in the world, insanely good at it. And if anyone's going to make it work at a high level of play, it'll be them.
Yeah, I couldn't believe, watching Rush in their first event on their, I went to Kettering 1 for the first day. We interviewed Rush. Glad once again, go check out their Behind the Bumpers. But Man, what a surprise when they didn't win that event, and just some unfortunate circumstances with it. These are some of those other, top tier teams that we talk about where they had an unfortunate first event and they just come and completely dominate their next event. And Russia is one of those examples of a team that's been able to do that. So congratulations to them. They're one of my favorite teams out there. One of my favorite interviews I think I've ever done it has been the last couple of years of interviewing Rush as well too. They're such an awesome team. That complete team that is one of those Hall of Fame teams that hasn't given up on continuing what Hall of Fame should be as well too. And I think that's something that's so cool about Rush. I'm not saying other teams haven't done this, but they're just a team that just continues that process of the impact and their inspiration that they do. And they built some pretty kick-ass robots, so awesome to see.
So now we had to say my favorite line of the entire evening. The drama's in the 2 spot.
Yeah. And this was close, by the way.
Especially this week. All right. So let's do this. Out of Davis, California, and Davis Senior High School, it's the Citrus Circuits. With a record of 27-5-1, 1678 was the second rank and finalist at the Sacramento Regional this weekend. After a dominant performance at Silicon Valley Week 1, 1678 was definitely the favorite headed into this event. They have a strong source side auto, one of the ones that drops the preloaded game piece first to sprint to the middle, and then they follow that with gameplay that they pioneered with the 2-amp, 2-speaker style. Shooting from the source side is definitely something they specialize in, and seeing this robot hit those shots through the event was very cool to watch. Even though they might not come away with the win here, the 1678 machine is tiled in for the season now, and I am so excited to watch them compete next at the East Bay Regional in Week 6.
So 60-45, we were watching the Sacramento Regional until like 8:30 p.m. Central Time, I think is when it ended, during our practice on Saturday, on Saturday. And we were taking votes. All right, who's going to be the number one pick, 254 or 1678? And I think Citrus had 9 votes and the Poofs had 3. We were all convinced Citrus was going number 1. I staked my claim. I thought they were going number 1. Don't bet against the Poofs, but also don't bet against Citrus. They had a 23 regional streak going into that event. And I think the Poofs had a 19 regional streak. It was battle of the 2 longest streaks in FRC. Probably one of the most exciting events I've ever watched, at least at a regional level.
Yeah, that went to was it 5 finals?
Yeah.
So looking at and Ryan, I'm glad you said it because it's a tough thing to say that streak has been broken at 23 and tied with OP Robotics 2056 for 23 consecutive event wins. 254 at 20 now, potential to break that. So it'll be interesting to see with this well too. Not this year though, right? I think 254 only has one more event in champs off the top of my head for them. So, but either way, I mean, you talk about the other streak that Citrus has. I think it's 9 Einstein appearances now in a row.
Yep.
What an incredible team overall. And once again, one of those other teams that's a complete team, extremely inspirational out there, doing some incredible things for the community. Citrus, we love you, and congratulations on a phenomenal machine once again.
The kids on that team haven't experienced a regional loss, really haven't experienced failure of any kind. And from everything I heard, I know cementers on the team, I shouldn't say that. They're little failures throughout the season. But in terms of competitive performance, they've been top notch. From everything I've heard, those kids handled it as well as anybody possibly could have. I think Citrus is going to take that regional loss and they're going to turn it into a world championship win. There's a hot take for you, Tyler.
Ooh. I like that.
Honestly, going off of what Ryan said, I wouldn't even call this a competitive failure. It's just part of the game. It's Citrus is where they at. They're in an excellent position, and they're gonna do great no matter what. Oh, the streak's gone. Oh well, are they gonna stop? No, they're just gonna keep on going. So honestly, we can't wait to see what Citrus does in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Mad respect to them. They lost to 254. Like you can't. It's 254.
And 604. Yeah.
And 604. Absolutely. Again, speaking of which, let's move on to our number 1 spot On tonight's top 25 for week 3, out of San Jose, California, and Bellarmine College Prep, it's Hall of Fame Team 254, the Cheesy Boofs. With a record of 14-2-1, they were the first pick and winners of the Sacramento Regional. And they are up to 20 regional wins in a row. Will they beat that 23 mark next season? Who knows? Bold take in Ryan's case, I bet they will. Gone are the days of West Coast-driven 254 robots, as Vortex follows the swerve turret archetype. With an under-the-bumper collector and a trap elevator, 254 does everything in this game as consistently as they always have. The 254 robot starts the match with a 6-note amp side auto, nothing too beyond the meta, and then cycles cleanly across the field to hit the amp and speaker cycles, ending the match with a reliable trap score. Once again, it's the 254 driver skill and ability to see the field that set them apart this year. Unsurprising to see them top our list. Congrats 254 on a great start to the season, and we'll see them play next at East Bay in week 6.
Can we take a moment to talk about the East Bay Regional and how it's going to be one of the most insane events ever on this? If you don't mind, let's hop into this. I'm going to put this up on screen here. Look at this team lineup of just like nuts-o teams that go through. You got 114, 254, 581, who's having an incredible year this year as well too. Citrus is part of this. I know I'm not going to mention
972 on there too.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to mention everybody that we want to. Brad is competing in this as well. Project Bucephalus coming from Australia, which is awesome. This event is going to be crazy, and I'll give a semi-mild take on this. Is that this might have been the event if Citrus would have won it and Poos would have lost. One of these two streaks could still very well have been broken anyways. This could be an event that Poofs loses and their streak breaks as well too, because there are so many good teams at this event. I mean, it is absolutely nuts. What's crazy too, you think about week 6 where everybody's attention usually is on DCMPs. Your attention needs to be on this regional because it's going to be absolutely incredible.
It's making me want Statbotics back.
Trust me, that's the stats breakdown for this one. So very cool. Any other comments on 254? I mean, overall, it's an incredible machine once again. For me, I'm a huge 254 fan. I love teams that compete at a high level and showcase it really well as well too. If you watch any of the interviews that we do, it is the students that are leading the way, and they're the ones that are talking about their teams and their robots, and they're breaking down the robot on that. Team like 254 sometimes can get a lot of flack for being either mentor build or something else that people fathom in their minds for things. And I can tell you, at least in my experience, I haven't experienced any of that at all with a team like that. I think they're extremely inspirational. They do a lot of incredible things out in the field, as many of these top 25 teams do as well. So my advice, when you get a chance, go talk to them and go see what's going on. You have 254 that I will give it, that's a team that builds crowds to where they have to have some crowd control, which is insane, by the way, like at championships. But overall, go talk to these top 25 teams, learn from them, see what they're doing right. Don't be jealous of what's going on. Learn and make yourself better. That's what it should be about for things like this. So congratulations to all of our top 25 teams. What an incredible run for all of them so far. Anybody else have anything to say on 254 before we draw for our giveaway winner?
Yeah, here's hoping that their pit isn't right next to 118 and 148 this year.
No, what I will say is I look back at my rookie year, and we were at Worlds, and my teammates were telling me, "Oh, that's 254. 254. What's the big deal?" Oh, they're the Cheesy Poos. That's an interesting name. And now I see the Cheesy Poos. I love them. They're always competitive. My students, they love them. They look at them for inspiration. It's amazing what this program has done and the history that this program has. Their impact on first, whether it be competitively, like, hey, look, 254 is doing this strategy, we need to, or 254 has this mechanism, maybe we need to transition to something like that. It's amazing. I love this team in blue with Corn Dog as their avatar. So yeah, 254, man, amazing team.
All right, let's go ahead and draw for our giveaway and start to wrap up the show here. Once again, this is our friends at Swerve Drive Specialties giving away the short sleeve SDS Timeline t-shirt. Once again, if you do win, go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner in order to claim on that. And let's go ahead and draw for that winner. It's going to be Simon Skinner. Congratulations, Simon. Make sure you go to firstupdatesnow.com FRC.com/winner, so you can fill in all your information, including your shirt size, or you do get the extra small. Thanks again, by the way, to Sword Drive Specialties and also to Crossroad Electronics for the awesome giveaways, and to Kettering University for being our show sponsor. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Week 3 of FRC Top 25 is now in the books. Good luck to all teams competing in week number 4. I do just want to throw around the horn real quick if anybody's going to be anywhere. So Ari, let's start with you. Where are you going to be at, or what are you going to be watching in week 4?
We and the rest of every very good team in Connecticut is going to be competing at the Western New England event. Very, very, very competitive event. We are so excited to be there, and we are very excited that it's our 3rd play in the district. So I know Tyler will be there too, so spoilers on that, but we're excited to have another event and just get up there and do our thing.
All right, I'm excited to catch up with you and to see your team as well too. So it's going to be be an awesome time. So, Angel, how about you? Week 4, what do you got your eyes on, and where are you at?
Where I got my eyes on, my eyes are in Texas, man. Since my team's going to be competing in Dallas this week, I got to represent Texas with the nice drip right here. But I'm just looking at where my team's at. If we're going to make district champs, I'm 100% with my team. Strategy, scouting, all that. Life of a mentor, as they say.
Ryan, for you, got one more week until week 6 for your team, or 2 more weeks, right? I keep thinking it's week 4 right now. So
16 days, Tyler.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of wiring to do and mechanical things to do. We just started driving yesterday after doing a full robot rebuild. But I'll be tuning into the Iowa Regional, watching my alumni team, 4607, hoping that they can bring us a wild card to the Granite City Regional in week 6.
Iowa, interesting too. They have Under Control from Brazil coming to that event. And I specifically know that because I'm shipping them something to their hotel as well. But and they're an incredible team. If you didn't see the robot, they dominated the Brazil regional and looked really good. So looking forward to that. As Ari mentioned, I will be out in New England this week. I'm flying out on Thursday night, and I will be in New England on Saturday and Sunday. So I'll be at Western New England on Saturday, and then on Sunday at I always forget what the event. I just know it's at Revere High School. So whatever it's called. For that one. So looking forward to that. I'm only going to be that Sunday event. I'm only going to be there probably through mid playoffs because I have to catch a flight back, but I do look forward to catching up with many of you. And the thing I'll say about all of our correspondents, please come and say hi. We'd love to talk to you about your team, what's going on, about fun, anything you want to talk about. Please come and say hi for things. I will always at least say hi back. If I'm going to an interview or something, I might go. But one of the things I'll say, at least for me, and I will work on getting all correspondences, we will have some fun stickers as well. I just ordered 1,000. They just came in. So I will be sending them out to a bunch of our fun correspondents in the field that still have BTBs to do or interviews to do to also give out. So if you say hi to me, ask for a sticker, I'll have about 1,000 on me. So love to see everybody at events as we go through. So with that said, that's going to wrap it up for the FRC Top 25 for week number 3. Don't forget to vote at FRC Top, or at firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25. It did used to be FRCTop25.com back in the day. So firstupdatesnow.com/FRC Top 25. Polls open on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern. At least by then, close Mondays and at 5 p.m. Eastern as well too. So about a 24-hour window to get your votes in. And don't forget to check out all the other fantastic shows we have going on. By the way, special shout out to everybody who's clicked that join button to help keep fun, loud, live, and independent. 100% of those funds go to our content creators out there, like you see on screen as well too. So thank you everybody for both your financial support, for subscribing, for spreading the word of fun. In the last 90 days, we've reached over 325,000 unique individuals, and that's just in the last 90 days. It is so cool that where this has been going. Thank you so much for your support. We love you all. I hope you have a great night, and good luck to all teams competing in week number 4. We'll see you next time on Fun. Talk to you then.
This video on Fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineer their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply.